Okay, now I'm going to show you how to thread your machine. This is a Juki. The setup is fairly similar with practically every single machine we have in the studio, and also it's relatively similar to your home machine. So you're going to put your thread in this on the spool, and you're going to go up through the arm up at the top. For this one, we're just going to bypass our tension guide, and we're going to go back to front here to keep the thread in the tension guide. All right, then we're going to go over to another guide here. We have two holes, right to left and then right to left, and this will make a little bit of an S shape. Down through the guide and into the tension dial. Again, make sure your thread is between the lips and it's solidly in between the lips. Really important, or else you're not going to get the appropriate tension drag that you're going to need for your thread to sew properly. All the way up to the top, make sure your thread is located into the spring mechanism, through the guide, and into right to left into the thread guide on the uptake level. Make sure that your thread is moving correctly and it's through all of these guides correctly. If not, you're going to have some problems and your thread you won't be able to sew correctly. Into the guide here, into the guide here. Now let's take a look at the needle. Really important that you make sure that the needle eye is going from exactly parallel to the sewing machine itself. So you have an eye here that's going from left to right. And what I mean by that is we have a very long groove on the needle. You can feel it. And then we have a little bit of a notch on the right side. Okay, make sure that the needle's in the correct position. If it's not in the correct position, it won't sew. And that's important. And when you thread the machine in an industrial machine, it goes left to right through the hole. Okay? And I'm going to stop this and get that done. Okay, my machine is threaded. My thread is going from left to right on the sewing machine, okay? Really important. Those of you that are used to working on home sewing machines, you'll be working the needle from front to back. That is not the case in an industrial machine. And then I'm going to put my sewing machine underneath my pressure foot. This is my pressure foot, and these are the parts. You've got a throat plate, you have a feed dog. Okay, so I'm going to put the thread underneath my pressure foot. I'm actually going to open up this little slide mechanism here because I'm going to put my bobbin in, and if you're just getting used to putting your bobbins into the sewing machine, you really, you can open up the slide mechanism and actually see the insides of this. I'm going to hold on to my bobbin the way I instructed you earlier. Hold on. You're going to put it underneath, and you'll feel that there's a little post here. You're going to take the whole of the bobbin and bobbin case and put it right onto the post. Once it's in, run your finger around the inside of it and make sure that the post and the bobbin are flush. If they're not, the bobbin case can come flying out when you go to sew, and this really can damage the insides of your sewing machine, so you don't want that. Always make sure too that you have quite a tail on your bobbin, because now we're going to engage the bobbin into the top of the machine. Take your hand wheel. Let me just show you how that's done. Well, I won't. I'll take your hand wheel. Hold on to your top thread, and with your hand wheel you're going to take the needle down and then back up again. Okay, and only try this once. If it doesn't work, don't try it again. Rethread your machine and start over. Pull on your upper thread and you should see this little loop. This little loop is actually your bobbin thread. You're going to pull it up through the hole, and you're going to take everything and put it down underneath your pressure foot and close this down. Okay? Now your machine is completely threaded. When you're troubleshooting your machine and if it's not working correctly, before you actually come see me in the studio to fix whatever's happening, make sure that your machine is threaded correctly. I can tell you that 75% of the time that somebody has asked me to check the machine, I can tell you that 75% of the time it's not threaded properly, and that's why the machine isn't working correctly. This is super important too if you're working at home on your regular sewing machines, because this is what causes a lot of headaches. Double check and make sure that your machine is threaded correctly and that your bobbin is threaded correctly before you sew. Or if you're having trouble sewing and you need my help, please make sure that it's threaded properly before you ask me. Okay, that's it.